Welcome to Mrs. Mom Dad's Edition. I'm Kai.
Woes.
And this is Isaac. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, y'all. So, my expectations basically for fatherhood, I'll be honest, I didn't really have much. I just kind of put it upon myself to think that fatherhood was all about late nights, especially in the early stages. Late nights, changing nappies, and becoming more of a man. That's what I thought. But you know, after a while, things change. And obviously I'll fill you in a sec, but those are my first expectations. But you know.
Yeah, my first expectations were other people's experiences, really. Becoming a father for the first time, that's what you kind of hear, you know, get prepared not to have any sleep, late nights, you know, the nappy changes, throwing up on your clothes, just kind of losing the fun in your life because you're going to be now focused on having a child. So those were my not really expectations, but I guess the experiences that I heard kind of gave me an expectation, which is not necessarily true. Everybody's experience is different, but yeah, those were my initial expectations.
I think, well, for me, the most enjoyable thing about being a father is never knowing what's coming next in terms of like the joy, the levels of joy, children being so random, building relationship and the family unit as well. You know, a lot of things will change. Like, you never know what's coming next. But it's just mad joke. It's just mad. It's funny. He's a funny guy. You know what I'm saying? He's making noise. Yeah, but you know, he wants to watch the World Cup. You know what I'm saying? So like, they show so much different personalities to them at different stages, and it's wonderful. Like, you never know what's coming next, and you just find that, you know, sometimes it's okay to make a mistake. One time when I was young, in the beginning stages, I gave my daughter a whole big plantain. Like, I fed it to her. Yeah, I didn't even tell you that, did I? Yeah, seriously. And you know, like, yeah, these are my confessions now. But you know, obviously, it happens, innit? Like, yeah, the wife has forgiven me, so we're all good now. But these are some of the stages and whatnot. So yeah.
So one of the things that I've enjoyed about being a dad, I think definitely what Rolls was saying is learning something new every day. So as I've been going to work and Phils has been on maternity leave, coming home and seeing Ivy do something different, seeing her crawl, even seeing her eating solids, just being a part of that journey, just seeing her, she's becoming more aware of her surroundings and more aware of me. So even when I come in and I see her smile at me, I'm like, oh, she recognises me, or she's hungry. But I choose to believe that she recognises me, and so it's those things there that kind of allow us to, allow me to really kind of, wow, like, fatherhood is amazing. It's something to be embraced and not to be afraid of. So
yeah, totally agree. The least enjoyable thing. What do you think? You can go first on this.
You can go first. All right. The least enjoyable, I think, at different stages, different things. So initially, it was the change in nappies, like waking up. It wasn't, for me, it wasn't every 2 hours. It was just waking up randomly, and I would be crying, and we'd have to get Ivor, and Phils will feed her, and then I'll have to change a nappy. But this could happen either 3 times a night or once. And I think one time I literally not pretended to sleep, I was asleep, but I had to re-sleep because I just didn't want to get up and change a nappy. So yeah, that's my least favourite. I think also Ivor, and like any other baby, there's no warning as to when they want to throw up. So I'd be like, it's been seconds where I've kind of held her up and I've brought her down, and then she's thrown up. That could have been in my mouth. And the way my head was tilted back, it would have just went straight down my throat. It wouldn't have actually been my option to swallow or not. But yeah, sorry, that was a bit pretty much. But, yeah.
No, cheers, man. I think my least favourite is possibly, just like I said, it's the late nights. The late nights. I think, you know what, I love my sleep. I think we all love our sleep, but I really love my sleep. And you know, when Nay was first born, obviously as the first child, it's just like, what in the world is going on here? Why am I waking up so much? And then you proper lay in bed, like looking at the ceiling, like, what kind of life is this? And, yeah, that's how we felt. That's how I felt. You know, you proper look out, you know, the curtains. You proper look at curtains. You're proper laying in your bed, looking around. It's like, what kind of life is this? And you know, like literally, I eventually like lost. I can't remember half of 2015 due to lack of sleep.
Yeah.
It's that real, you know. So I think that was my least favorite. I think with Isaac now, you're kind of used to it by now. But you still love your sleep, and you're still a bit like, you know what I'm saying. But it's alright though. It's cool. But least favorite, I wouldn't say I hate it yet, but least favorite, definitely.
I think I want to add to that though. I think in terms of was my first child, so how my relationship with my wife has changed as well. I think that was my least favorite, actually. You know, wanting to then, yeah, let's go to the cinema, and then Phils will be like, oh, what about Ivor? I'll be like, what about Ivor? That is very true, actually. So it's that change and the adjustment in, now it's no longer 2 of us, it's 3. So yeah, you get used to it, and it's great. Now we've learned to really work around that, but initially it is quite difficult to actually, you know, now it's 3 of us, so everything you do, you've got to think 3 instead of 2. Do you know what I mean?
Babysitters and
babysitters. You've got to be more organised. I think the admin side does come out in you.
Proper.
Organising. So yeah, that's something I'd add in there as well.
One piece of advice before becoming a father.
Yeah, if someone gave you a piece of advice before you became a father, what would you have liked it to have been?
One piece of advice before becoming a father. I would say if I would have liked one piece of advice before becoming a father is boy, that's a hard one, you know. Do you know what? I'm not sure if I want a piece of advice. I would say I would like encouragement. Well, but that's basically the same thing, isn't it? I would say, you say the same thing? Bit different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, I would say, encouragement, but I would say probably a piece of advice for me would be support. To support your wife as much as you can, because it's a lot. It is a lot, and you know, at times there's just so much that your wife goes through, or your mum goes through, Mrs. Mum goes through, that, you know, they really need a whole lot of attention, a whole lot of support, a whole lot of encouragement. And I would really, if someone told me that, you know, like, you know, really support your wife and be there for her, and you know, buy chocolates and Cocoa Puffs and all that sort of stuff, you know what I'm saying, then boom, I would have been like, you know what, I'm on the ball, like, a bit more. And if someone told me that earlier, mate, I'll be gone. You know what I'm saying? I probably won't be gone, but yeah.
Wales hit on a very good point. I think definitely, you know, support, and also to stick with, what's the word I'm looking for? To stick with the plan. I think not being offended.
Yeah.
I think that can often happen. I think because what actually begins to happen, like I was saying before, the dynamic of the relationship now, that it's no longer you and your wife, or you and your partner, it's there's a third person involved, and kind of thinking actually her priority is a child, and you might get ignored. I think that was something I experienced, where it was kind of like, actually, kind of like, where's my hug? Where's my food? I want milk. No, I'm joking, I'm being silly. But actually, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, yeah, it's the whole dynamic's changed, and it's kind of like, okay, now I've got to deny myself. It's almost like, okay, not about me. I will get my time, but I've also got to kind of contribute in supporting my wife and helping her in those areas. And also with a new child on board, I think Ivor at the moment is a mummy's girl, but I have faith that she will turn over to a daddy's girl. She will become one.
Oh, it's gonna happen, bro.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like when she's with me and she'll start crying, I'll be like, I haven't done anything. What have I done? I just came in from work because I smell. I did spray myself. And it's not that. It's generally it's sticking with it. Actually, intentionally wanting to picking time to spend with her.
Yeah.
So it's either FIFA or Ivor. You know, some of you might think, oh, it's an easy decision, but sometimes, man, you gotta. It's hard to deny yourself.
Yeah.
But it's worth it when you choose to spend time with Ivor and you choose to learn about her and see her character or you know, your child. So definitely for me, it's not being offended and not taking things personally.
Yeah.
Is what I was trying to say. So,
Sweet.
cool.
Do you have any words of encouragement?
A bit of advice for someone else having a child is love has no boundary. The reason I say that is because love is everything and everything is love. You know what I'm saying? So love has no boundary. Once you meet your child, you get to see there's a new depth of love basically, especially like when you meet your wife or when you marry your wife basically. There's just new levels to this. And with love, when you're driven in love, when you go in love, listen mate, it is what it is. You can it's endless, you know what I'm saying? It's just wonderful, wonderful feeling. So love has no boundary, keep that in mind. And yeah man.
That's it. You only got one shot, so make it count. You might never get this moment again. Jeez, bang on with the harmonising, you know. Mate, you should sign us up. But no, that's great advice. It's definitely true, and my advice would be not to be offended by a wife, your partner, or from your baby as well. I think as a man, you don't go through that experience of 9 months of, you know, carrying a child. So when that baby does come along, you're kind of like, oh, how am I to feel? And you grow to love your child, and you grow to understand that, you know, your partner, your wife is that's her main focus for now.
Yeah.
And it's adjusting and actually being honest and communicating, actually saying, okay, is it alright if we, you know, can have this time and you know, booking a babysitter, and whatever your situation is, kind of being very honest about how you feel, because you know your wife might not know that you feel like that. So I think it's very important to communicate and not to be offended by your child. If you come in from work and you hold them and they start crying and you're like, I didn't do anything, like, don't be offended by that. Know that there's a relationship there that's growing. You know what I mean? Like when you first played FIFA, you wasn't good at FIFA.
Yeah,
I was mashing you up 8-0 and all that. And now it's 0. Do you know what I mean? It's 7-0 this time. Do you know what I mean? And then the score gets lower. So it's a work in progress. Be encouraged that you're a good father. Do you know what I mean?
Indeed.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, guys.
Happy Father's Day. If it's your first Father's Day, like myself, big up. Continue to do a great job. You know, my brother Walls, I was going to add that as well. Like, always stick with other fathers as well. Like, the reality is, if it's your first time, you don't know entirely what you're doing, but stick to those that are experienced and those that speak, you know, positive vibes over what you're doing. Like those that look out for you, you know, stick with them. You know, it's very important. You know, this journey is to be made with others and not just by yourself. So, yeah, man. Happy Father's Day. Love you guys.
Yeah, what he said. Happy Father's Day.
Yeah.